Good afternoon. This is Nirvana from Body and Mind Health and Wellness Directory. And this afternoon I'm speaking to Katja. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, Nirvana. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Katja. So we're going to be chatting about what you have on offer as a specialized kinesiologist. And then you also have N.O.T Practitioner, which you'll explain what that is. Touch for Health Practitioner, a Neurotraining, and a life coach. So that's a whole lot of stuff, and I love kinesiology, and we'll explain that in a minute. But let's talk a little bit about Katja and your journey, and how did you come to do kinesiology, and why decide to go, down this road?
I'm originally from Germany and used to be a remedial teacher. Moved about 20 years ago to Durban, and when I had my firstborn son 15 years ago, he proved to have several difficulties and was just generally a very unhappy child. And trying out all different kind of alternative medicine, from Cranio Sacral to Chinese medicine to Kinesiology, I found out that N.O.T, which means neuro organizing technique, was actually the one thing that made a drastic change in his life. And that got me so interested that I then started doing the courses and started becoming a kinesiologist and started from there. And you know how it goes. Once you are in this field, you want to know more and more and more, and you do more and more courses. And yeah, I just love it and never look back.
That's wonderful. Yes, I have done some kinesiology studying. I've done level 1 and level 2, and basically about muscle testing and knowing that the body doesn't lie and never lies. And so, explain that to us, people who are watching, people who don't understand. What does it mean the body doesn't lie? How does muscle testing work? How does kinesiology work? And how can we at this point, while we're in this hashtag lockdown, assist people that might be going through anxiety? So start off with explaining what is kinesiology. Kinesiology.
Kinesiology means basically muscle testing. Muscle testing works because the body has the biochemical response to stress with a dip in muscle tone, which we have all experienced before. If you give somebody bad news, why do you tell them to sit down first? The reason is because if you get a fright, if you get a shock, and or some unpleasant news, then your muscle system, your muscle tone actually drops in your body. So that then can cause weak knees, and this is why we tell people to rather sit down before they receive bad news. That is the exact same effect that we're using in kinesiology to find stresses in the body. So it doesn't matter if I hit a subconscious hidden emotion that is stressing the client, or if I touch an acupuncture point that is imbalanced, or if I do anything else that stresses the body, the muscle tone will reveal this to us. And it's a subconscious reaction, so it can't be overridden consciously. So it can't lie. So whenever we hit something that is imbalanced in the person, then we will reveal it.
Yeah.
And a kinesiologist then, yeah.
Carry on.
A kinesiologist then has several different modalities in order to balance the imbalance, and that depends entirely on the training of the kinesiologist. So not one kinesiologist works the same like the others, because it all has to do with your background, with your training, and yeah, you can use all different modalities. And again, you're using muscle testing in order to find out which is the highest priority for that specific client. So does that client need a balance with acupuncture points, or more with chakras, or does he need something more on the emotional level? That is entirely dependent on the client.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people don't understand that with the subconscious, things can be so far rooted that when you were in the womb, or during birth, or in those very early baby stages, that had created some issues or trauma in whichever level that is then stuck in the cellular memory, and you don't know why you perhaps depressed or why you're overweight or getting severe headaches, because there is so many layers. And as you said, it's the highest priority. It might not go straight to, well, this is when you gave birth. It is might have to go through some of the layers before you get through to that root reason as to what is the issue.
The root of all our physical symptoms comes from energetic imbalances and from emotional stuff. So we don't work on the actual physical symptoms. We look at the underlying factor. So what is the actual cause of it? What is the actual root? What is the underlying emotion? Where is the energetic imbalance, in order to then have it filter through to the physical level.
Yeah, and what do? We just grab a little bottle that somebody prescribed to us and say, well, here you go. Let's put this plaster on that headache or that depression or that whatever it is that people are dealing with in the dis-ease, rather than looking at what the root cause is of it. And this is why kinesiology for me is such a brilliant tool to go beyond that little tablet and work from the root up.
Yes, absolutely.
So now that we're doing this lockdown for 21 days in South Africa, and a very few people like yourself who are therapists, I myself am a Kahuna massage therapist, we cannot see people, we cannot do any therapies. So we have this tool, which is what we've decided, this Body and Mind is initiative, to have something that we can put out on social media to assist people during this time. Especially people are in fear, they bombard themselves with all statistics and all of the stuff that, so many dead, so many has contracted it, which I try not to tap into, but I do know that it's affecting me subconsciously, even though I'm a bit of a conspiracy person, and I know that there's more to this than actually a virus. I do find that sometimes, I'm struggling to sleep because my mind is just so busy during this time. So what would you say to people, and how could you offer a help for people during this time with anxiety and stress?
Look, distance healing works. I'm doing this for a couple of years with family and friends in Germany, because we're working on an energetic level, and energy is energy. It's the same thing as if you have two cell phones and you send a text from one to the other. They don't have to be particularly in the same room. If the other cell phone is on another continent, it will still receive the message. And our bodies are energetic. Our heart, our electromagnetic fields, our heart field is actually huge. Our meridian lines are electric. Our impulses from the nerve cells, from the brain, the synapses, they give us the information how to move our body on an electric impulse level. So we are basically a receiver and transmitters. So if we're using that, we don't have to be in the same room. We can very well be on two different continents and influence this energetic way that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So on a remote session, you can go on the energetic level, and you can. I mean, I do remote sessions on a Skype session or Zoom session, so people can see me and can hear me. So I'm surrogating for them and using my muscles basically to find their imbalances, and then I'll show them how to rub specific points, hold specific points, do specific eye modes, whatever is necessary for that person to deal with the imbalance. And it works very, very well, especially for fear and anxiety. But also for, I had 2 days ago, I had a lady on distance healing with a migraine, and her pain came drastically down because the migraine was caused by fear and anxiety and tension and shoulder tension, and sitting at home and having cabin fever, and so yeah, it filters through with the physical symptom again.
Yeah. And so, to close off, is there something specific that you can advise people just to lift that fear and anxiety? What is that little tool that they can use to assist them during this time?
There is something that we call a switch-on exercise, where we switch on neurology. We could just take one part out of it, and that is your K27 points. They are pretty famous. It's when you go from your collarbone 2 ribs downwards, and then about that much apart, like a claw with your fingers, and you find 2 points. If you have got anxiety, I assure you that these points will be sensitive, if not sore. So if you feel a bit around, you feel around there somewhere some sensitivity or even pain.
Yeah.
And if you take your other 2 fingers and put them into your belly button, which is our grounding point, and you rub those points together, that can relieve the anxiety feeling. It can help you maybe not going into a panic attack. Kidney meridian is linked to fear and anxiety, and there are also very nice points to help with brain integration. So we're using them a lot also for dyslexia or kids with learning problems, but they are also, because they're kidney meridian, they help a lot with fear and anxiety. So if you just have this acute feeling of, I can't breathe right now, and it's all getting too much, and I got the text about corona, then just try that and rub belly button with it and do a bit of deep breathing, and that should actually already help and calm a little bit.
And how long would you do that? That 2 minutes, 5
However
minutes?
long, however often you want to. I mean, it's probably 10-20 seconds good enough, but if you feel like you need a longer relief, or I know people who do it 4, 5, 6 times a day, and it becomes, everything that you do for 28 days or longer becomes a habit. So if you're going to do that throughout the lockdown, you're almost there that it becomes a habit, and your neurology goes like, oh, okay. And you just touch it for 2-3 seconds and it should switch it on.
Wonderful. And how can people get hold of you, Katja, if they are interested in doing some distant healing, or want to chat to you? If you could give us, contact details, social media, how can people get hold of you?
We're on Instagram under Reconnect. It's Reconnect, REKINNECT. Reconnect.
Okay, wonderful. That's perfect. Great. And then, of course, people can also go to the Body and Mind website, which is www.bodyandmind.co.za, and you can either search for Katja or Reconnect or Kinesiology, and you can make contact with her. All the links, all the contact details is available on the Body and Mind website. You can also download the app, Body and Mind Health Directory app, and you can interact with us that way and find all our members and their contact details. And let's use this opportunity that we are at home and really find that peace in that center, and support people like Katja, where we can, contact her for a distant healing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope you have a lovely rest of the afternoon, Katja.
And to you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.